You see, that's your problem. You try too much. You see, there's two fundamental journeys we take on this life. There's an outer path and there's an inner path. The outer path is all about trying, about being disciplined and working hard, but the inner path is about surrender, allowing life to be as it is and remaining in a state of complete non-resistance. And you see, peace is found within you. It's not found out here. So you have to abide by the laws of the inner world if you want peace. You see, the worst thing you could do is try to meditate. That's not how this works. If you want peace, you have to tap into the peace that is already within you. And this is not something that can be gained or achieved like you would in the outer world. It is a recognition, a realization. Being at peace is about doing less, not doing anything more. Because you see, the big joke that God has played on all of us is that the source of all peace, all love, all joy in our existence is you. And yet we spend our whole lives going out in the world and trying to find these things, thinking that money will set me free, when in fact the very nature of what you are is freedom. Thinking that I need somebody else to love, when in fact love is your very nature. Thinking that I need to go out into the nature, the wilderness, to find peace, and yet peace is the radiance of your very being. And you have to kind of constantly snap out of this I'll be happy when mentality to continuously remember that everything you are looking for is right here, right now. Trying to find peace implies that peace is not already yours. But the mind doesn't know how to handle this kind of information. Because the mind says, well, I'm not experiencing peace right now, so I have to go and get it. I have to go and do some kind of meditation or some kind of exercise or some kind of good deed to find this inner peace. But you see, these things simply reveal the underlying peace that is always present by removing the thing that is blocking you from that peace. And the thing that is blocking you from your peace is your mind. And your mind is the one who tries. Your mind is the one who goes and does things. You see, perhaps the greatest mistake that human beings make is putting conditions on their happiness, making their peace conditional, because this reality is always changing. And when you put conditions upon things that are always changing, you will never have lasting peace, or lasting happiness, or lasting love. These things will always be fleeting, and you will always be on this never-ending journey of desire and losing your desires and being upset and being frustrated that you cannot find lasting satisfaction in a temporary world. And oh, yet everybody tries. You see, we allow our external circumstances to dictate how we feel. In other words, we give our power to forces outside of our control. And this makes us a slave to a million different things. And this is the source of much of people's suffering. Because they say things like, I live in an evil system that takes advantage of people and suppresses me. Or you might use race as an excuse for why your life is the way it is. Or your gender, or your parents, and whatever excuses that people use. You say, you took away my peace, or you disturbed me, or you triggered me, or you made me angry. When the fact is that no, an experience happened and you reacted negatively to that experience. That doesn't mean you didn't have every reason to react negatively, but the outcome remains the same. You have lost peace, you have been made angry, you have been triggered, you are suffering. You see, and people spend their whole lives trying to escape suffering, when in truth, you are already free from suffering. And so the source of all of your problems in life, all of your suffering, is your lack of recognition of the truth of what you really are. Your belief in an illusion, an identification with your mind or with your ego. And because every other human being since the beginning of time have either identified with their body or their mind, we think that it's normal. But the spiritual teachers and the enlightened beings of this world prove to us that you can be free from suffering, you can find everlasting peace, and you can be in joy all the time. That it doesn't have to be just a fleeting experience. But there is one thing that you must sacrifice, a price that is too high for most people. And that is your attachment and your belief in your mind identity. The person who you believe you are has to be let go of. And this is done through the recognition of the truth, in which all illusions begin to fade away. You see, the mind takes away our peace, not only by ruminating on the past and ruminating on the future about imaginary things, but also judging our experiences. And you see, the mind creates a sense of separation, an individual autonomy that allows us to have this sense of free will. The problem is that when we are attached to the individual identity, what comes along for the ride are an infinite amount of different desires, different things you wish to avoid, judgments, prejudices. And so long as you are in this state, you are in the circus of samsara. Or in other words, you are in a never-ending cycle of suffering. And most people don't even realize it. We think that suffering is like, oh, it's agony. But I see people suffer in micro ways all the time. Tiny resistances to things, to thoughts, to experiences. The fact that you don't experience peace all the time is in itself suffering. The fact that you are not in love with life all the time is suffering. Suffering is not just the presence of pain, it is also the absence of the good. You see, peace is found in silence, peace and quiet. And peace and quietness is the radiance of space. That is why there is no sound in space. And also, when you go out into the mountains, into the forest, it is the absence of noise pollution that reveals the vast ocean of silence that is always present. And that is why we feel at peace out in nature. And so the clue to the source of everlasting peace within you is inner spaciousness. If you close your eyes and sense the space around you, and then you turn your awareness inward towards your body, what you will find is that there is an outer space and there is an inner space. It's the exact same space, and it is separated by the sensation of your skin. Your skin is like a barrier that separates the outer space from the inner space. And so all you have to do to experience everlasting peace is to become familiar with this sensation of inner spaciousness. Because in this inner spaciousness is the radiance of peace. And this inner spaciousness is eternal. It's everlasting. And so whenever you find yourself in a difficult situation, or you're irritated, or you're triggered by something, simply turn your attention back inward towards your body and see if you can find this inner spaciousness. I mean, it's always there, so it shouldn't take that long. And it's not like it's that hidden, it's like right there. But until you recognize it, it might be kind of tricky to find, maybe. I don't know. Remember this inner spaciousness, and you will tap into the everlasting peace that is already present within you. Remember, it's not about doing, it's not about trying, it's not about having more. It's about returning to the very essence of what you are.